Hello, I have been doing videos about Accutane since I believe October, and ever since I've had a lot of comments, people saying, what are your side effects? Every now and then I will message those people and tell them, but a lot of the time I don't feel like talking about it, and I figure it's going to save me a lot of time if I just do a video about it. I used to have a lot of reluctance to doing this because I know what some of the people are like on YouTube, but I don't really care. If some faceless asshole wants to comment and take the piss out of what's happened to me, then they can. Not my problem. I know what's wrong with me, so if someone else points it out, it's not really changing anything. But the last few days I've been feeling a bit better. I'll maybe make a video about that, but the last two videos, obviously I've cried, which is never good to cry, although it does help get stuff out. But I'm just going to go through all my side effects. Probably not going to hold back at all, just because I've gone on TV to say like most of this anyway, so I might as well do it now. And if you want to read the full details, because obviously I've got like 10 minutes to make a video, then you can read my book. It's a few dollars or £2 on the Kindle, but here we go. First problem I've put, because I've made a list, anxiety. I'd never heard of anxiety, I didn't know what was going on, but when I was on this drug, I just wanted to hide away from people. I felt awkward around everyone. Like, obviously when you have acne you feel self-conscious, but to a brand new level I just felt like hiding away. I'd always been someone who went to school like every day, and then in my last year when I was on Accutane I was like, Mum, I don't want to go in today. I felt so depressed. Which brings me on to the next point, because I'm not going to go into massive details on each of these problems because I just don't have the time. But depression, obviously 2 videos ago I had a fucking mental breakdown on camera, and that is what life can be like for me now. I have some massive down days where I think I'd be better off dead. I went to the doctors and filled out one of their questionnaires, and I was, marked severely depressed based on the answers I was giving. This, when your health's down, it seriously gets to you, but when on the drug, I didn't have half the health problems I have now. I just literally felt so angry. I was not myself at all. Literally, I probably could have killed someone, and that's why I had to come off the drug. I was so frustrated. I didn't even know what was going on. I was in someone's face, the face of one of my friends, who just slide tackled me, and it hurt because I got injured so easily on this drug. And I didn't know what I was doing. I suddenly realized I was like shouting at him in his face, and I was like, I'm gonna get you! What the hell? My friends would call me schizophrenic. I'd never had that before. I was not an angry person, and I'm not. And it was very scary. I mean, that drug. There's one story in particular that I remember reading where someone took this drug who was called Hans Peterson. You might have heard of this. He took the drug for a few days, came off it, had the side effects, went to his doctor's office and murdered his doctor, and then fled to France. I think he's still there. And I wondered, is he using Accutane as an excuse, or did this drug seriously mess him up? It is possible that the drug messed him up. But, yeah, depression, definitely a big one. It's something I have to deal with now. You've got to expect that when your body's not in a very good state, when you're tired, and you've got all these different health problems, you're not going to feel happy, are you? I mean, I do still have fleeting moments of happiness, and I've been happy this past weekend, but it's quite rare, to be honest, these days. Next point, I can't drink alcohol. They do liver blood tests on you while you're taking this drug, and you think you're covered, and I thought I was covered. And all my results were fine. But now, if I drink, I get terrible hangovers. The last hangover I had was 3 days. And, you don't have time for a hangover like that. It's like, go out drinking Friday night and you're still ill on the work day of Monday. So, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't for nearly 2 years. I could probably get away with drinking like 1 drink, but, I mean, as well, the last time I mixed my drinks a bit, but a 3-day hangover. Regardless of that, I used to get terrible hangovers anyway. Maybe some people are more prone to them. But no, my body is not in a great state to handle something like alcohol, so I'm cutting down on bad habits like that. I've never been someone to smoke or any of that. So I try to remain as healthy as I sort of can these days. I let myself have chocolate and stuff, because for a while I was so strict, having salad every day, too hard work, and, I don't deserve that. I deserve to enjoy myself, so I just eat what I want when I feel like it. But also, I've lost my sweet tooth now. I don't eat ridiculous amounts of sweets and that. Next point, dry eyes. I've mentioned before, my eyes, especially in the morning, they're like pretty much glued shut. Throughout the day, they feel gritty, they can sting, they're very sensitive to bright lights. They look red. People used to ask me if I was on drugs when I was taking this, and that used to get to me. Unfortunately, the side effect never went away. It just turns out this drug really dries out your whole body. Eye floaters is another problem I mentioned, and it's basically like I'll be outside or in a well-lit room and there's white walls and I can just see these dots floating around my vision. It is seriously very annoying. It's like having a fly that you look away and it's still buzzing around your head, and that gets to me. Blurred vision slightly. I mean, I went to the opticians and I don't need glasses. It's just a case that my eyes are a bit dry. My vision's still good. I'm looking outside right now at a tree and it looks crystal clear. It's just my eyes, yeah, I have to like blink a lot, use eye drops, which don't really help, to be honest. It's just a bit of a pain. Dry mouth as well. That's a big one. I'll be so thirsty in the morning, like I've been on a desert the last 3 days. I'll drink water throughout the day, never really feel properly hydrated. And I've had some problems with my teeth and gums. I'm going to the dentist today. And, you know, with all these side effects I'm mentioning, by the way, there's a lot of people talking about them, just not on YouTube. No one really wants to admit they've got these problems, especially some that I'm going to get to in a minute. And, like, 6 minutes in, I need to get through this faster. Fatigue. I've got adrenal fatigue that has been diagnosed, and I've got hypothyroidism. Got another blood test next month to check if that's getting worse. I don't want to take the medication they're offering, not because I believe it will be another Accutane. I believe that T4, which is thyroxine in this country, is not necessarily dangerous, although it can make your heart race and you can get like side effects like that. But apparently if you take that and you've got adrenal fatigue, that will get worse and you'll still remain tired. So I want to be very careful in the decision that I make regarding my health these days. General feelings of unwellness. Yeah, I just feel like tired, zoned out, like I'm not really alive or awake most of the time. Right, here's the big one then that I'm now going to mention. Sexual dysfunction. Yeah, right. This actually kicked in a few years ago, and I mentioned in a video, my first one, that when you take Accutane, you can be fine while on the drug, or you can just get certain side effects, and then you can still develop new ones. And I've got my own theories for this. I'm still not sure if the drug's in my body causing this, or if it's just damaged the body, or it's messed with a hormonal system, which it definitely does, because one of the other side effects I've got is, it's not really a side effect as such, it's not a massive problem, but I do get hair grow up here. I actually, this is weird, I don't really want to admit this, but I'm going to. I get hair that grows on the outside of my nose, like here for some reason, and I just use an electric shaver every few days to get it, but what the hell. There's women who have taken this drug and they get like facial hair that grows. It definitely messes with the endocrine system, and that's one thing that's very complicated, the hormones, and you don't want to mess with it. But yeah, you know, any other guy will watch American Pie or wake up in the morning and have a stonking massive erection. And I don't so much, like very occasionally. And during sex or sexual activity, it can take a while for, you know, him to get happy. So, big problem, embarrassing, but it definitely happens with this drug, as well as the drug Propecia, which is used for hair loss. There are some people who have taken Accutane for acne, obviously, and then they get hair loss and they take Propecia as well, and they've got hit double whammy. So I've learnt my lesson from touching this drug that medicine can be dangerous, and I steer clear of it as much as I can. But yeah, my sex drive used to be like 110%. Let's just say, why am I saying this on camera to people of the internet? But I used to, you know, use it a couple of times a day, and now I'm not going to go into the details because you shouldn't have to know, but it's quite rare I'm in the mood, to be honest. And also another thing is, and this is weird, and SSRI antidepressants can do this as well, so be careful if you're on them. It can cause, like, I don't think it's a physical thing in terms of, oh, my dick doesn't work no more, but the pleasure response, the serotonin, gets sort of messed about, and there's a link with Accutane and serotonin and dopamine as well, and you just can't feel the pleasure. Like, your brain's not getting the signals that, oh, this feels great. So a lot of the times I would be doing stuff and it's like, it can even feel uncomfortable. So yeah, I've said that now. That is out there for the trolls of the internet to pick on me for. Enjoy. Next problem, digestive problems, right? My digestion was always fine. I remember one week where I couldn't go to the toilet as a kid, and my family were surrounded around me on the toilet, and I was just like, and then I had a poo, and everyone was like clapping. That was a weird experience. But now I eat a good diet. I eat lots of fiber, all the right stuff, and I'm always constipated. And one time last year, I was going for a walk, and I'm like, oh, itchy ass, man, what the fuck? And turns out, hemorrhoid. I'm saying this on the fucking internet, what am I doing? But I thought hemorrhoids was something that happens to really old people, and they do, typically speaking. But again, I think that will be caused by the dehydration in the GI tract. The one thing that Accutane cannot deny, they can go, oh, depression. Nah, they're depressed because of acne. It's not true. But they took their drug off. Roche took Accutane off. You can obviously still get the different brands of Accutane, the exact same thing. I'm sure Roche still profit off the different brands because it's their product. But they were getting sued so much for irritable bowel disease, which luckily I don't have. I just have, you know, constipation, maybe IBS. But doctors say something is IBS if they don't know what it is. Anyway, like, look at the time. I need to get through some more stuff. Sweating excessively. This doesn't happen so much now, but while on the drug, if I do it now, if I do some real, you know, sweaty activity, I play badminton, which isn't too bad, but I've played like football and stuff indoors where you get hot, and I literally sweat like hell. My hair gets matted insanely. My friends used to comment on it, and it was like, bit sweaty, aren't you? And they'd all not be sweaty. It would be quite a warm day, perhaps in the summer at school, when we'd be playing football outside, but I was literally drenched. And a couple of times it's happened where I've just been on the bus, and I'm literally like drenching myself. It's the winter, my bus stops before everyone else's, and I've got to press the button and like walk off and everyone look at me. That was embarrassing. And I was like, why the hell am I sweating for? And it doesn't happen very often, but occasionally I'll be really hot, and then I'll like take the cover off me in bed, and then I'm really cold. Like, my internal heating doesn't seem to work very well. Hair loss. I mean, immediately there, if any of those problems I was aware that I was going to get, wouldn't have taken it for acne, because my acne was not severe. They shouldn't have given it to me. If you see severe acne, you go, yeah, okay, maybe Accutane could be used for that. If they've tried other things, that's the only example of where I'll say perhaps use this drug, but also be aware of these potential risks. But hair loss, immediately, right there, swap in one problem for something that's worse, because my dad's got thick hair. My hair, look, it does look thick, doesn't it? But it's definitely thin hair. I comb it down. I've said this before. I've had some grey hairs, that's worth mentioning as well. That could be from a lot of stress, which I'm now trying to deal with better. 13 minutes in, come on. Patchy beard growth, just some hair loss on my beard as well. And my body hair as well. There's like, it's so strange. Bits of stubble come through in certain places, and then it just stops growing. And that's been going on for a while, and I'm like, what the hell? How's that happening? But next one, low immune system. If I get a cut, it takes ages to heal. If I get a cold, it can take a while to go. If I get a spot, because I still get them occasionally, and I don't even squeeze it, I just let it go, there's a scar, typically, that will stay. Like, my skin is pretty clear, I'll admit. Like, there's people who get really bad scarring, but I do believe Accutane causes scarring. I saw one of my friends who had acne. I saw him for the first time on Friday in a long while. His skin looked so clear, like he had spots, and now they've gone, and he doesn't have any signs of ever having spots. And I do, especially in some dim lighting where you've got like dark and then the lights above you, and you just get that terrible effect. It's like, oh, right, 1 minute. Feeling old and exhausted. That's one thing that a lot of people who've taken Accutane say. They feel like they're 80 years old. Best way to describe it. Literally so tired. I get massive slumps around mid-afternoon, like 3 o'clock. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I just started working last week, and it's quite difficult sometimes. Back pain. I'm just mentioning more stuff now. Trouble concentrating, memory problems, chemo brain, because this drug's a chemotherapy drug. I basically, I'm going to be talking to someone mid-speech, and I'm like, hang on. I have to think what I'm saying. The awareness is just not there. The moment I wake up, I think, oh no, I'm so tired, Accutane. And throughout the day, my thoughts are fixed on Accutane. Anyway, that's all my side effects. I've put them out there to the internet now. Do what you want with this information. If you want to still take the drug, do so. But there we go. All this has happened to me, I'm not making it up. Goodbye.